Most guys actually want the same body, the kind of physique that makes it look like you've just walked off a Hollywood film set. The type of physique that actually gets you noticed and respected. But then here comes the problem. You're training hard and consistently, you're sticking to your calories, but the last bit of lower belly fat just isn't budging. So what do? You start training abs harder, you start adding in more cardio, you eat even less food. But that's not solving the problem either. It just makes you feel like shit and it makes it so you can't stick to your deficit. So what are we gonna do? Well, you'll see by the end of this video that none of those things were the issue, and this is actually a hormonal problem. Yo, my name's Jas. I've been into bodybuilding for the past year and a half, but for my whole life before that I was into sports and fitness, and today I'm going to tell you exactly how to delete that lower belly fat so that you can finally get the physique that you want. Let's not waste any more time and jump right into it, bro. You probably clicked this because you've seen a bit of progress already. Maybe you got some vascularity in your arms, or maybe you got a little like 2-pack, maybe even a 4-pack coming in, but it's just that last little bit of lower belly fat now, right? You've been doing the right things, you've been using the right knowledge, and you've been actually consistent, so I'm very fucking proud of you, bro. Let's fucking go. But that last little bit is what's separating you from being the top 10% to literally being in the top 1%. Let me just give you some background, right? The body doesn't store fat equally, we kind of know this, but why? There's all these problem areas for people and they're quite common, right? For like 90% of people, it's always going to be the same places. Some people are super blessed, they hold their fat more in like their kind of upper back or their legs, and their abs get really like chiseled easily. And the thing is, this is all genetic. We can't control where the fat comes from. We can just control whether we're in the calorie deficit and if we're actually training hard enough to keep our muscles, and that's about it, right? Just be consistent. However, the reason why our body has kind of locked up the fat in these certain areas is because of alpha-2 receptors. Now, alpha-2 receptors are just more abundant in areas like the lower belly, the lower back, in like the hips. They're like the brakes in a car. Let's say you're going as fast as you can, but like the brake pedal's halfway jammed. You're never going to get that there that fast. They're like the brakes of fat loss. And you can even think about it like they keep the fat cells locked up. Alpha-2 receptors, they keep the fat cells locked, so you can't actually use them to burn energy. So your body finds other places to burn energy from. Maybe it burns like a little bit more fat from your arms and you get a little bit leaner in your arms, but your abs just still look the same. This is why. It's because of alpha-2 receptors. And you might be thinking, okay, alpha-2 receptors, blah, 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 like lock up the belly fat. Tell me how to fucking lose the belly fat, bro. Well, there's 2 levers, okay, that we can pull to unlock these areas. And the 2 levers are cortisol and insulin sensitivity. And that's because cortisol retains number 1, water, which gives you that kind of softer look anyway, and alpha-2 receptors. So higher cortisol just means that, remember the car analogy from earlier, it means that the brake pedal ain't halfway down, it's going all the way down. So it fully shuts off those areas from being mobilized and used as energy, so it stays stored as fat. And number 2 is just that your insulin sensitivity gets lower as you stay in your deficit. Your body, instead of using carbs as energy now, it begins to store carbs as fat, which is unfortunate. If you've begun to feel like, okay, now you're deep into your deficit, you eat your meals and you kind of feel sluggish afterwards, you feel like shit, you kind of get brain fog, this is lowered insulin sensitivity and it needs to be fixed. You might be thinking, okay, I'm just going to go keto then, I'm just going to go carnivore, I'm not going to eat any more carbs. Do not do that. You still need carbs to get stronger in the gym, hence telling your body to keep your muscle. You still need carbs. We're going to do this even though we're eating carbs. So I'm going to talk about both these issues, how to fix them. So first, let's start with cortisol because that's the most common issue and that's the one that's basically going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. Reducing cortisol. Number 1, train less frequently. If you're doing 4, 5, 6 gym sessions a week, bro, cut that shit out. Cut it in half. Do 2 to 3 super hard, super intense sessions where you're focused 6 to 8 sets per session on the aesthetic muscle groups that you want to keep. The aesthetic muscles for the men are just the lateral delts, the abs, the lats, the upper chest and the biceps. It could be other ones for you. Maybe you've got shitty traps, maybe your triceps are lacking, you could put those in instead. Just have 5 aesthetic muscles that you want to grow and do 6 to 8 hard sets. 0 reps in reserve, bro. 0 fucking reps in reserve. And you want to be doing those every single week 2 to 3 times a week in your sessions. In terms of your maintenance muscles, so this will be, you know, stuff that you just want to maintain or like slightly grow. It won't be very noticeable. It'll be things like your legs, your lower back. You know, for me it's my triceps, my rear delt. This is stuff that I want to maintain. So you do 3 to 4 super hard sets. Number 2 to fixing cortisol is to have 0 caffeine 10 hours before bed. Absolutely nothing, okay? So if your bedtime is 9 p.m, you want to have 0 caffeine after 11 a.m. And look, the reason why is because caffeine literally destroys your sleep quality. And there's a difference between how long you sleep. So you could sleep 8 hours, but if that sleep quality is shit, so you're not getting much rapid eye movement, REM sleep, then your cortisol is still going to be all jacked up. And that's because cortisol, 80% of your cortisol is regulated during your REM sleep cycles. So you need to be doing things that give you better REM. Well, the first thing is to literally cut out the caffeine 10 hours before bed, because caffeine stays in your system and it stops you doing REM sleep. And look, you might have heard the advice of cutting out caffeine 8 hours before or 6 hours before, and that's all right, yeah? But maybe when you're bulky, maybe when your body's got more resource for recovery to actually break down this caffeine. But why will you stress your body out with all of that when you're in a calorie deficit? When you're 6, 12, maybe even 16 weeks deep? I've tried 6 hours, I've tried 8 hours. It doesn't fucking work on the cut. 10 hours is the best protocol for this. Just cut out the caffeine 10 hours before bed. You don't, bro, you're not a crackhead. I know you can do it, come on. And now part 3 to reducing your cortisol is to do Jazz's social media protocol. I don't know why you're not on this already, bro. Oh no, you didn't know what it was. Okay, let me just quickly explain it to you, G. All it is 3 hours before bed, you have a reminder on your phone and you delete Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. You delete it. You fully delete it. You don't have to delete your account. You just delete the app. And you have another reminder for the next day, 3 hours after you wake up, to re-download the apps. You're allowed now. You're allowed to go on your phone during the day, of course. But the reason why we're doing this is because a lot of people, they fuck up their REM sleep because they're literally on their side scrolling in bed with all that blue light hitting their face, and they're not even putting their night filter on. Bro, actually, yeah, that's part of it as well. Put your fucking night filter on, G. You should have your night shift on, maybe even 24/7, who cares? And you can make it so it automatically turns on at certain times. Make it turn on 3 hours before bed and make it turn off 3 hours after bed, along with when you get rid of social media. And look, bro, I'll be completely honest. Past few days, I've been prone to this. Every time I go on Instagram, I have to make a post, right? So obviously, look, this doesn't apply if you're a content creator. If you're making content, you need the stuff on your phone 24/7. It's a little bit harder. Like for me, I post on Instagram every single day. So I have to go on Instagram, make my reel. And when you make the reels and you post it, it puts you onto the reels tab. So you just kind of automatically start doom scrolling. So I have been in bed for the past few days and I've scrolled like, you know, half an hour of my life away before falling asleep. And I feel like shit the next day. No wonder, it's because I fucked up my REM sleep, I've jacked up my cortisol, and now my body's holding more water, my alpha-2 receptors are extra locked in, they've like locked up the fat on my lower belly, and now I'm just like, bro, like my abs just got a little bit blurry over the past couple of days. It's horrible. So for you, I want to make sure that you're deleting that social media, because this could be the highest leverage move that you make in terms of reducing your cortisol. Number 4 for reducing cortisol is to have half a potato before bedtime. Now you might be like, what the fuck? Bro, look. This is what happens. Cortisol and insulin have an inverse relationship. So the half potato, it's a whole food source. It will slightly spike your insulin, which reduces cortisol just enough to get you ready to sleep. Now, this helps you, especially if you get cravings at night time. I feel like people cheat on their diet most at night. That's what I've witnessed from people and even myself, right? So this half potato is like your savior. It's your sleep shield. It helps you fall asleep easier and better, and it reduces your cravings. Just do it. Half a potato minus that from your dinner, allocate it to your sleep shield before bed, and make sure you actually do this now. If you really want this to work and you really want to like optimize everything to get rid of that lower belly fat, this is how you're going to do it. And now let's look at the second lever that we can pull, which is to control your insulin sensitivity and increase it. Why do you want to improve insulin sensitivity, you may ask? Well, it's because insulin is released to handle your meal after you eaten, okay, especially the carbs. Now, if you've got a high insulin sensitivity, your carbs are more likely to be stored in your muscles and used as energy. If you've got low insulin sensitivity, they're more likely to be stored as fat. So which one do you want? You want high, obviously, yeah? So let's talk about how to increase it. Number 1, eat whole foods. You might be thinking, okay, whatever, whole foods, like it might just strip your mind. Bro, look, processed foods, yeah, processed carbohydrates like white bread, like Rice Krispies, like snacks, all this bullshit, right? They're actually supposed to have fiber inside them, but because during the processing, right, they get stripped of those fiber matrices. And the fiber matrix, bro, all that is like internal glue inside the carbohydrate that just holds the carb molecules together. And this is what makes it harder for your body to digest, because the fiber matrices themselves, they're undigestible. Your body can't digest them. However, it makes it so that your body takes longer to digest. So what you want to do by eating the whole foods is basically force your body to digest slower. Because when you eat processed foods, you might notice that your body gets a massive spike in energy. Yeah, you can hit the gym and whatever, but then you get a massive crash afterwards anyway. And if you're eating processed food throughout the day and you're not really like tracking your calories or anything, and bro, like that's a bigger issue in itself. But if you're basically eating processed foods and you don't know why you're feeling these energy crashes, you don't know why your body's holding on to that lower belly fat, this is why. Whole foods have a very strong fiber matrix, and what this means is that your body takes longer to digest it, so not as much insulin is released as processed foods, so it's like a microdose of insulin, and it's much more manageable. Your body's able to basically store those carbs properly rather than just storing them as fat, which is what happens when you eat your processed fucking garbage, bro. So stop eating processed crap. Number 2 is to do a 10 to 20 minute walk after each meal. Now normally after you've just eaten, your pancreas, which is this organ inside your body that releases the insulin, it starts releasing insulin, and the insulin acts like a key that opens up your cells that can then use the glucose as energy from the carbs, okay? But when you do a walk straight after you just eaten, your muscles send signals to the pancreas to say, no, fuck off. We're opening ourselves up. We want the energy anyway. So what happens is your body releases less insulin. Your body becomes more insulin sensitive. So definitely walk 10 minutes. Bro, by the way, a 10 to 20 minute walk, that's just like going 5 minutes that way, 5 minutes back. You could do that around your house. You can just like walk up and down your street, okay? Just like, bro, no fucking excuses. You clicked on this video because you wanted to learn. So, bro, take on the advice. If you're sat here and you're thinking like, yeah, I'll like that sounds like a good idea, actually try it. The thing that sounds like a good idea, that's your body, that's your intuition telling you, this is what we want to do, this is how you're going to lose the fat. That's like the knowledge of the cosmos, yeah, going into your brain and telling you like, bro, this is what you need to do. Intuition, internal tuition, internal learning, that you are learning, you are understanding, you are taking the information on board. Your body wants to do that. You want to do the walk after, if you're thinking about it. You want to, bro, like, come on, you want to lose this fat, this is how you're going to get it done. And the final point on insulin sensitivity is just carb timing around your gym sessions. Look, if you've trained hard and you're actually hitting failure every single session and you're actually increasing your strength every single time, your muscles after each session are just like your dry lips right now, screaming for Vaseline. Your muscles are screaming for carbs. They're screaming for energy. And the thing is, similar to the walk after you've eaten, your muscles will not require the insulin release to unlock the cells to put the glycogen inside or glucose inside from the carbs. They are just open, they're just ready. So by eating a carb heavy meal after you've trained, you're in the position where your muscles are so greedy for those like carbs as energy that your body doesn't need to release that much insulin to manage the meal. And that's it, bro. That is the way that you're going to fix your cortisol, fix your insulin sensitivity. That's everything you need to know. That's the stuff, yeah, that other coaches and other fitness influencers, they will like hide it all behind a paywall. I've given it here for you for free. But you have to realize these are not magic wands. These are not just like random things that you can wave around, start trying, and not focus on the basics anymore. The basics are always a calorie deficit. Make sure your training is locked in. Make sure you're actually getting stronger, because look, at the end of the day, these are tools that are going to help you unlock those areas that are harder for you to lose fat. And yes, it's going to definitely, you're going to see results, but you have to make sure that you're staying consistent, that you're staying on the path. You need relentless focus. And look, if you've watched all the way through and you fully are thinking like, damn, like, this was pretty good advice, but I just don't know how to take it on board. If you feel like you don't understand how to put this advice into your life and figure out in your situation exactly how to fix your cortisol, fix your insulin sensitivity, reduce your stress, improve your sleep, and actually unlock those areas that you want to unlock and start losing your fat, bro, you need to get your ass in the description and book in a call right now. Because the thing is, it's a completely free call. We're just going to talk about your situation, talk about maybe any like commitments you have that are stopping you from doing this, maybe any like limiting beliefs, anything it may be. We can talk about it in any amount of detail that you want, okay? But we're going to go through your training, your nutrition, and I'm going to fully understand where I can help you. And if I can genuinely help you, we can talk about one-to-one coaching where you're actually going to be held accountable. I'll make you the plan, I'll make you the nutrition plan, I'll make you the training, everything. And then I'm going to hold you accountable every single day. I'll hold your hand through this journey, and we're going to make sure you're doing it right. So look, bro, book in that call because you've got nothing to lose. What's going to happen? Worst case scenario, you just spent 30 minutes learning more about your situation, learning more about your lifestyle and how you can actually improve it and actually reach the goals that you want, and you get to stare at this handsome face for 30 minutes. So let's fucking go, bro. Get in that description right now, book in your call, and I'll see you there, bro. With that, man, click the next video, sweat or regret. I'm out.